Uh, Hello, friends. Welcome to NewTechDojo's Career Talks. This week I have Michael Enudi. Michael is a senior big data engineer residing in Johannesburg, South Africa. He has worked for over 12 years in the areas of software development for uh, enterprise, mobile, and database applications. He's currently a team lead at Structure IT, where he uses big data technologies to build a content platform for a financial services company. Uh, his passion includes learning new technologies, implementing enterprise software, and sharing his knowledge. That's why he's here with us. Michael, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much. I appreciate Rishabh.
Yeah. So Michael, since you've been working in the big data domain, can you tell the viewers about how's the real world like? I mean, what do you do throughout the day? What technologies or databases you work with?
Okay, thank you. First of all, thank you for the opportunity. I'm glad to be on this set right now. Okay, as a big data developer, what I encounter daily is data. So two very important things. The first one is data, and the other one is requirements. So most times you are either bringing data into your infrastructure or you are transforming data that's already residing in the infrastructure. Then there are also going to be sets of use cases that are provided by the business. So the business is going to have questions that they want to solve, and your idea is to be able to convert that data as a solution to business problems.
Right. And are these the
Yeah.
business problems? Are these individual projects or are these part of a larger project? Uh,
Usually, so in there are different scenarios in different companies. So usually, it used to be, for example, if you are going through the data lake approach, you're solving a bigger problem, and the use cases are all within the sphere of the bigger problem, right? Why in some other cases, the data comes with each question. So, for example, if I want to solve a sentiment analysis problem, then I'm going to go for the data for sentiment analysis. But like in the enterprise environment where I did a job for a bank, I was a consultant. There is a data lake scenario. Then in that data lake, we start solving even hundreds of use cases within that data lake scenario. So they come in different ways.
right, right. And how does somebody? I mean, we have a lot of viewers who want to get into big data, right? Who could be business analysts today, who could be MIS experts. How if somebody wants to get into big data, what do you think are the top two, three things he should be doing at?
If you want to get into big data, the first thing is you need to have love for data. So, yes, if you don't love data, you cannot be a data engineer, you cannot be a data analyst,
Right,
right?
right.
So, what do you call love for data? Love for data means that you are able to stay in there even if you see messy data.
Mm,
You want to see good data come out of messy data, right? Because
mm,
that is the most painful stuff. That is the stuff that's going to keep you up at night, having messy data, right?
right.
When your engineer tells you that data should be like this, but all the data you get are the other way. How do you resolve problems in data? So
Right.
that is the first one. Then technically, you need to start from the basics. I always say the basics for data analysts would be SQL, right? You should have done SQL in one form or the other. So, for instance, I had a student in Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania, in the United States, and she doesn't know anything at all. She's never been in there, and she wanted to start. I said, before you start, go learn SQL Server. Just learn SQL first.
Right.
So it is the foundation to a lot of things. So I would want to keep the answer very short and say you should love data, you should know SQL. These two things are very important.
Right. And which books or authors, I mean, if somebody wants to continue the learning after building some foundation, who do you respect? Who do you worship?
Um, when it comes to, I wouldn't use the word worship, but when it comes to Hadoop, I have different authors in different sphere.
Right.
So when I mention Hadoop, there's somebody that stands out, and that will be is it Tom White or Tom Kite? No, not Tom Kite. The book is Hadoop: The Definitive Guide, fourth edition. I'm trying to remember the name of the guy now. Hadoop Definitive Guide. That book is the best book for Hadoop technology. But when we come to big data, it's not all about Hadoop. You also want to think about NoSQL as well. So because of that, there's not one general book for big data. But when we want to talk of big data on the Hadoop platform,
Uh-huh.
Tom White's, I'm trying to get that name. I hope it's right, Tom White. But the name of the book is Hadoop: The Definitive Guide. It's the fourth edition right now. It's
Okay.
the best book because that book takes you from the top to existing situations. And you want to know that Hadoop is very, very prevalent now. Even in the cloud services, they offer Hadoop.
Right.
So if you talk of Hadoop, I would say number one, as a data engineer, pick up Hadoop: The Definitive Guide, fourth edition.
And if a learner learns Hadoop, you think this knowledge or skill is transferable across different non-relational databases or relational database
Um,
management systems?
No, no. I figured out that it is not, if you know Hadoop, the knowledge is not just transferable across other NoSQL systems. And because of that,
Hmm.
right, let me just give you one of my little secrets. I am working on a new Udemy course
Hmm.
that will talk about data platforms from SQL to Hadoop. And in that course, we'll walk through SQL. So you understand SQL, you understand key value pair databases, and you will see that the knowledge is not, the thinking is almost transferable, but the knowledge is not,
Right.
right? Yeah. So it's difficult to really schedule time, but I saw a lot of learning materials, and I saw that gap that I'm not seeing a lot of materials talk about transferring that SQL knowledge that I've said is
Hmm.
very important from day
Hmm.
one, and transferring it into the different forms of NoSQL world: key value stores, wide columnar stores, graph databases, document oriented databases, search engines, and so on and so forth, time series databases, and how to transfer that knowledge and know why we have these type of, then finally end up in Hadoop. So the paradigm will change as you move along. And I think we need materials in our field for that. And that is why I said I'm telling you something I'm already looking forward to working on in future.
Excellent. What's your course name on Udemy?
The course name on Udemy is OLAP, big data on big data on Hadoop, Apache Kylin doing big data on Hadoop.
Right.
So I think it's the only Apache Kylin course that's in Udemy.
Friends,
So if
yeah, friends, you will find
so if
this
you
link
if
in the description.
yeah, okay,
The Udemy link for Michael's course on Hadoop.
yep,
Okay, okay. So Michael, I mean, one or two more questions. So if I become a Hadoop engineer today, what do you
yep.
think is the future, say after 5 years or after 10 years? Uh, will I become a company CTO? What do you think the future could hold?
I think especially if you can become a CIO,
Right.
right? So if you work very hard, you can become a CIO. And because data is now prevalent and the knowledge of the importance of data is now prevalent,
Hmm.
you might not even be in a software company. You can be in a utilities company. You can be in a financial company. You can be in a fashion company. You can
Right.
be in a carpentry company because we all use data across every sphere of life, every sector. So you can be a CIO, but if you are the very, very sanguine type, if you always like to be in the front line, you can be a consultant. All you do is become consultant in data engineering, or you want to be a consultant in data science as well.
Got it. And one last question, actually. Any website you would recommend for our learners where they can start learning SQL or foundations of big data?
Um, there are many, but there isn't one where you will stay and learn everything,
Okay.
right? So yes, there are many. So you basically want to look around, but like I said, some websites only focus on SQL. They don't focus on big data, but SQL is so ubiquitous, and I cannot stress the importance of learning SQL as it may come, because it when I teach, especially I teach for other companies. There's a company in Bangalore, India, that I contract for as an instructor.
Right.
And when I get these students and I tell them, the first thing I tell them is, do you know SQL? Because if somebody already understands SQL, then I can guide them through things like MapReduce. I can guide them through things like Spark. I can use it to guide them into Hive, Pig, and just walk the ways using these high level technologies. So just find somewhere you learn SQL. You would not get that Hadoop knowledge in SQL, but it will now help you, arm you with handling data.
Understood. Understood. Thank you so much for your time, Michael. It's really appreciated.
It's a pleasure here. Thank you so much, Rashad.
All right. Okay, friends, we'll end this episode. I'll see you sometime next week. Bye bye.